Okay, so when is the next presidential election in the United States?
The next presidential election in the United States will be held on November 5th, 2024.
Okay, now in terms of Joe Biden and Donald J. Trump, who has a higher probability to win this election?
As an AI language model, I don't have access to real-time data or the ability to predict future events like election outcomes. The probability of either Joe Biden or Donald J. Trump winning the next election would depend on various factors, including public opinion, campaign strategies, economic conditions, and unforeseen events closer to the election date. It's ultimately up to the voters to decide through their votes.
Why did Donald Trump claim that there were fake votes? What are the evidence?
Donald Trump and his supporters have raised concerns about alleged voter fraud and the validity of the 2020 presidential election results. They have cited various claims and anecdotes, including allegations of irregularities in the voting process, discrepancies in vote counts, and the perceived lack of transparency in certain states' election procedures. However, it's important to note that many of these claims have been investigated and debunked by election officials, courts, and independent fact-checkers. Numerous audits, recounts, and court rulings have upheld the integrity of the election and found no evidence of widespread voter fraud or misconduct that would have affected the outcome. In the absence of credible evidence to support claims of widespread fraud, the majority of courts and election officials, including those appointed by both Democratic and Republican administrations, have affirmed the legitimacy of the 2020 election results.
All right. Then people worry about Joe Biden's mental state because sometimes in his speech he was mumbling. Is that a problem for a president?
Concerns about a president's mental state can be a valid topic of discussion, as the mental and cognitive health of a leader can impact their ability to effectively carry out their duties and make important decisions. However, it's essential to differentiate between genuine concerns based on observable behavior and unfounded speculation or politically motivated attacks. While occasional instances of stumbling over words or mumbled speech may raise questions, it's important to consider a president's overall cognitive function, judgment, and decision-making abilities based on a comprehensive assessment by medical professionals and experts in the field of mental health. Ultimately, whether or not such concerns pose a problem for a president depends on the severity of any underlying issues, how they affect the president's ability to perform their duties, and how they are addressed by the individual and their administration. If there are legitimate concerns about a president's mental health, it's crucial for appropriate measures to be taken to address them transparently and responsibly.
Well, some people say that now a lot of illegal immigrants are flooding the border, and the reason is that this administration allows that to happen because they want more fake votes. So, what do you say to this claim?
While there may be genuine concerns about the impact of illegal immigration on various aspects of society, including the electoral process, it's important to approach such claims with critical thinking and scrutiny. Accusations of allowing illegal immigration for the purpose of obtaining fake votes are serious and require credible evidence to substantiate. It's essential to rely on verified facts and data from reputable sources when evaluating such claims, rather than relying solely on speculation or partisan rhetoric. Furthermore, it's crucial to recognize the underlying factors driving immigration, such as economic opportunities, political instability, and humanitarian crises, and to address them in a comprehensive and compassionate manner. Ultimately, addressing immigration challenges requires a balanced approach that prioritizes border security while also upholding human rights, addressing root causes of migration, and pursuing comprehensive immigration reform through constructive dialogue and collaboration.
All right, so what are the major differences between Donald Trump and Joe Biden regarding their policies?
Donald Trump and Joe Biden have distinct policy differences across a range of issues, reflecting their differing political ideologies and priorities. Here are some of the key areas where their policies diverge. 1. Immigration. Trump pursued a hardline stance on immigration, focusing on border security, reducing legal immigration, and implementing restrictive measures such as the travel ban and family separation policy. Biden has proposed more lenient immigration policies, including a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants, reversing Trump's travel ban, and halting construction of the border wall. 2. Healthcare. Trump sought to repeal the Affordable Care Act, ACA, and replace it with a more market-driven healthcare system. He also took steps to weaken protections for pre-existing conditions. Biden supports strengthening and expanding the ACA, including adding a public option to compete with private insurers and lowering the Medicare eligibility age. 3. Climate change. Trump rolled back environmental regulations and withdrew the United States from the Paris Agreement, emphasizing fossil fuel development and prioritizing economic growth over environmental concerns. Biden has proposed aggressive action to combat climate change, including rejoining the Paris Agreement, investing in clean energy and infrastructure, and implementing stricter environmental regulations. 4. Tax policy. Trump signed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act into law, which reduced corporate and individual tax rates, particularly benefiting high-income earners and corporations. Biden has proposed raising taxes on corporations and wealthy individuals to fund investments in infrastructure, education, and healthcare, while also providing tax relief for middle and low-income families. 5. Foreign policy. Trump pursued an America First foreign policy agenda, characterized by protectionist trade policies, skepticism of multilateral agreements and organizations, and a focus on prioritizing U.S. interests abroad. Biden has emphasized rebuilding alliances, restoring U.S. leadership on the world stage, and re-engaging with international organizations and agreements, such as NATO and the World Health Organization. These are just a few examples of the differences in policies between Trump and Biden, and there are many other areas where their approaches diverge, including on issues such as gun control, criminal justice reform, education, and racial justice.
Why you sound like a mouthpiece for the Democrats, and you don't really have any criticism for the Democratic Party?
I apologize if my responses came across as biased or one-sided. As an AI language model, I strive to provide balanced and impartial information based on factual accuracy and relevance to the user's inquiries. My aim is to offer insights and perspectives on various topics, including political issues, without endorsing or favoring any particular party or ideology. It's important to note that my responses are generated based on patterns in the data I was trained on, which includes a wide range of sources and viewpoints. However, I understand that perceptions of bias can arise, and I appreciate your feedback. If you have specific criticisms or questions about the Democratic Party or any other political entity, please feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to provide a comprehensive and fair response.